All right, I think just in the interest of time, let's get started. And I just wanted to say a warm welcome to everyone on the call. This is our seventh Africa Regional Cities and Nature Briefing. And just a little background, this briefing is part of the Urban Ecosystem Specialist Working Group of the IUCN Commission on Ecosystem Management. And it happens monthly for us, and we gather as a group for 30 minutes, 1 hour a virtual briefing that supports Africa regional collaboration in and across cities and provides opportunities for cities and nature and biodiversity conservation partners to share their announcements and develop projects together. And what we've been doing since about October is having a city from a different regions across the continent join and share their own perspectives about challenges in their city, how they're addressing them, and their own methods and approaches for conserving nature in cities. So yeah, we really welcome you all to be here each month. It's a great networking opportunity and ways for different cities to exchange knowledge and contacts. So it's great to have you. And I'll hand over to Eric. He's going to do our introduction for our speaker today.
Okay, excellent. What I first wanted to say is that here's our agenda. Yeah, as Julie just said, we're going to run right through. We've got the introductory remarks, and then we're going to hand it over to Connie Fang. But before we actually do that, what I wanted to do is say that, yes, this is number 7, and it's amazing, right? And we've heard from the city of Cape Town, the city of Durban, the city of Nairobi, sort of the city of Freetown. We've heard from sort of a mix, sort of interesting cities, large and small. And the briefing today from Kanifang Municipal Council is consistent with the realm of understanding that the growth that is happening across Africa is urban growth, and it is within sort of towns that are turning into cities and cities that are turning into mega cities because of the level of growth. We now have 1,500 secondary cities. These are cities with less than 1 million population that will be reaching 1 million in population or more, sort of by 2050 with the levels of growth that are happening. These are the cities that are sitting in the gap that have all of the challenges that every other city has and not necessarily the resources to manage those processes. And we want to spend sort of time with those cities understanding how they're managing through. And one of those cities is Kanifang, that's doing some extraordinary things, right? Across the spectrum of delivering services to its residents. And their approach is a very interesting integrated one that we'll hear from the Director of Services. Lamine will talk us through. So why don't I stop talking and hand it over to you, Lamine? You ready?
All right. Thank you very much, Eric. I would suggest we have a self-introductory, then I can come in about present. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes, no problem. So Julie has introduced herself. I'm Eric. Eric Hubbard. I co-lead the Africa regional grouping with Julie of the Urban Ecosystems Working Group of the IUCN's Commission on Ecosystems Management. We also have with us Franz, who's the young professional on our team. Franz, are you there?
Hello, Eric. Hello, everyone.
Just
I'm delighted
yourself.
to be here to join you for this incredible second briefing session. So hope we will have a great time today.
Okay. So let us keep going right around. Tuseho, Sheikh, Kelvin, would you like to introduce yourselves? Let's start with Tuseho. Botswana.
Hello, thank you, Brother Eric. Let me see if, oh, okay, that's it. My name is Tuseho Setswamu from Botswana. Currently a graduate student, climate change and sustainable development in the city of Cape Town. I'm also part of an interest group interested in nature-based solutions, urban nature-based solutions. The term or the name of the group is Urban Greener Futures, Botswana. Thank you, and I'm delighted to be here.
Okay. Sheikh?
Yes, let me see. Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Sheikh Jane, and I'm from Freetown. I mean, I'm still in Freetown. And I work with Future Africa International as the executive director. It's a young multinational NGO that's interested in climate change and conservation. So super happy to be here again.
All right, thank you. Kelvin?
Hi everyone, I'm Kelvin Ushati, working with the Nairobi City County Environment Department, Parks and Natural Resources section. It is a pleasure having us again here. We look forward to an interactive session.
Thank you so much. Asumana? Okay. Rebecca, would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for organizing these. These are extremely interesting. This is my second one, and I'm in Imperial College London, and I'm a PhD student. Thank you.
Excellent. Welcome. Luis Pineda, UNEP. How are you, Luis? Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, hello, Eric. Good to see you again. Everything good here in Nairobi. As Eric already mentioned, I'm part of the NDS team at the UNEP based in Nairobi. Really nice to meet you all.
All right. Jacob?
Good afternoon, all. I'm Jacob. I'm here representing Africa Consumer Rights Watch. This is my first session. Glad to be here.
Welcome. Khadija?
Hello. Yes, I'm with the Tony Blair Institute and currently embedded here at the Canifing Municipal Council. So looking forward to today's session.
Excellent. And Purava? Oh.
Hi everyone, my name is Purava Joshi. I also work at the Canifing Municipal Council through the Tony Blair Institute. Thank you.
Excellent. Lamine, are there people there with you?
Yes, Dudu is around.
Hello. Hello, how are you all? My name is Dudu Jalo. I'm the Manager Services responsible for programs and projects in the area of integrated and sustainable waste management.
All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Lamin Sanya, Director of Services and the Project Manager for Canifing Environmental Transformation Program, which is an EU-funded project. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to present and share with you, colleagues in environment, some of the approaches that we have done so far as KMC, or Canifing Municipal Council. I will take you through these slides, which is almost about 5 slides. I'm going to talk to you about the profile of the municipality, and as well as the governance structure and some of the environmental projects that we have embarked on as a municipality. It is important that we share as Africans to be able to improve on our environment. That even motivated us more to be part of this session. Thank you very much. Eric, can you please take us through? as I said before, I'm gonna present to you about the municipality and the governance structure. The Carnivore municipality is the second largest municipality in the Gambia, with the population of almost about 380,000, which represent 16% of our population, which is about 2.4 million. It is one of the most densely populated municipality, with a population density of 5,021 person per square meter. The municipality absolutely is one of the biggest, second largest, and then it's as per the governance structure. We are under the local government authority. The council is governed by the Lord Mayor, who came on board as a mayor in 2018. He's a visionary leader who definitely wanted to see change in the environment. That helped us as a department hence we have the political commitment from the council, the main general council, to be able to go into some of the environmental issues that will address the challenges we have. The mayor is supported by 19 elected councillors. These councillors, they are grouped into subcommittees. For instance, we have subcommittee for finance, subcommittee for environment and sanitation, subcommittee for culture, subcommittee for development. So we have Environment and Sanitation Committee that directly works with the Department of Services, which I headed as the Director of Services. So any environmental issues that we have at the departmental level, we try to engage the Environment and Sanitation Subcommittee to be able to take it to the General Council for endorsement and to pass it as a resolution, which will be forwarded to the Chief Executive Officer for implementation. So we work closely with this committee. They provide an oversight functions, and then any policy that we felt is necessary as a directorate to address some of the environmental challenges, we usually forwarded it to the committee and the committee to the General Council for endorsement for implementations. Next slide, sorry. So the environmental context of the municipality, as I said before, it is densely populated with a lack of green spaces. When we came on board in 2018, as a council, what we did first was we conducted a need assessment to understand what are the problems and challenges of the residents of this municipality are facing, so that at least we can develop, projects, concept notes for funding. And then as per the report, we have 19 wards. They have highlighted that the waste collection is one of the main challenges, because by then there is no collection mechanisms. The council is only concentrating on public places like the market and school health facilities. It comes as the top priority, waste management. And then we have lack of green spaces for recreational facilities, sporting facilities. That was highlighted by the youth category. And then we also have the disaster issues because some part of the municipality is around the riverine areas. And then this isn't a no-go area, especially when it comes to rainy season. They are disaster hotspot areas. So we felt when we developed this report and then all these issues pop out, we were able to develop a concept note, which was submitted to the EU because that was a call for proposal. We submitted it to the EU for funding, and then luckily for us, the Carnivore Environmental Transformation Program was funded at the tune of 3.1 million euro which we are currently implementing. We at the extension stage. The 3 years elapsed last December, and then we have a 6 months extension to complete some of the activities that are pending. This project was purely, developed through, participatory development approach. By that, I mean the Ward Development Committee and the Sub-Ward Development Committee at the decentralized structures at the decentralized level were fully involved to help us identify some of the challenges going beyond even the tree plant, the parks management, the waste management. It enabled us to have almost about 23 major outputs that are need to be activities that are need to be implemented by the project. So we embedded some of these things. So, and then the Carnegie Environmental Transformation Program is very much aligned with our strategic plan and also our waste management plan. And then we and some of the SDGs and the National Development Plan, So we are into the extension. We have so many activities that we have implemented, and then we are now left with few activities. For instance, at the Bakote dam site, where we are to provide as a study machine and also a weighbridge to measure the quantity of waste coming to the Bakote dam site to help us in decision-making processes. The waste management has been a big challenge. And also, as I said, some of the riverine areas, people are cutting down the mangroves to settle in there. As you said, Eric, with regards to growing population, people want to settle out at areas where it's not, suitable for settlement. So they are now cutting down the mangroves. So what we did as a council, when this project came, we, went back to restore some of those mangrove areas and then planted about more than 100,000 mangroves. Next slide. We'll show you the number of trees that we have planted. So the Carnegie Environmental Transformation Program, we have constructed about 7 waste enclosures at the market. Purposely to divert organic waste from going to the dump site. You can see in the picture we have procured 10 skip bins, which were located at some strategic locations, transfer stations, and also we transported this organic waste to the pilot compost plant that we have constructed at the Bakau Women Garden. We also embark on legal dump clearance because we felt it is important that, yes, we have some fleet correction fleet material, which was done through PPP. We procured about 23 waste collection fleet to, solve the issue of waste management. To deter people from dumping, we cleared illegal dump and then do a thorough sensitizations around those areas for them to use the skip bins and also to deter them from dumping around the riverine areas. So we've also constructed a recycling shed at the Bakote dump site in order to encourage a circular economy. The scavengers at the Bakote dump site are using the facility, doing the segregations and then selling some of the recyclable materials to certain companies. The organic waste that we producing at the compost chambers is used by the women gardeners and also used by the project for our tree planting exercise. Whenever we have a tree planting exercise, a team of our laborers will help us dig some holes, and then we will put some manures, apply some manures before planting. So it has really helped us to be able to, monitor or, for the growth of the trees as well. So, and the circular economy, because we believe that this project, has to create employment for youth as well. and also try to promote a circular economy within the municipality, because we didn't have facilities for recycling, but at least we can encourage youth to venture into, medium, activities that would generate income for them. So what we did as a project, we conducted a need assessment, training need assessment, to determine whether the needs of these youth groups that are venture into recycling. And then we conducted a training and then organized a pitching competition. And then this pitching competition was organized, and then 3 winners were awarded with significant amount of money. We didn't give them the physical money. What we did was we worked with them. They submitted the list of materials that are needed to improve on their businesses. And then we work with our procurement to provide, to buy those materials to them. As you can see in the picture, this is a recycling youth group that came out first, and they are recycling plastic bottles. You can see behind, you see blue and the gold, those are plastic bottles. They, recycle bottles, tires, and then place it at a strategic locations. So we, for green spaces, we planted almost about 189,000 trees. A majority of these, or more than 100,000, are mangroves, because as I said before, we wanted to reclaim the mangrove, areas, which happen to serve as a dumping ground for the residents of the municipality that are very much close to the riverine areas. And just last 2 weeks ago, the Minister of Environment and Climate Change visited these areas, and then working with the government, other departments like the physical planning and land, to ensure that people do not encroach those mangrove areas anymore. So we have planted trees. So how we did this planting, we engage youth groups who are tree stewards. We train them, we develop a software, and the software is to help us monitor the growth of the trees. And then these stewards were trained on how to use the software, the application, and then also the community, the World Development Committee, were also sensitized on the importance of having trees in their communities. Some even requested to have trees in their households, some along their streets, some around the empty spaces within the communities. And then we even work with the security apparatus, the military, the paramilitaries, the police, and then supply them with trees. And then some of them are even part of our tree stewards who help us monitor the tree seedling. And we have constructed almost 8 parks back in almost 8 communities. These parks, we able to train park attendants on landscaping, so they maintain the facility. We also trained committees, park management committees on park governance for sustainability. Some of the parks presently, they are hiring out the facilities, because there are 6 aside football pitch and also children's play area where they can generate income and also try to sustain the facility. So the parks, we are now working with the committees to develop a constitution to legally register, so they can open a bank account and deposit all the revenue generated from the parks. Already some have already have some money that they kept, and then we will finalize the registrations by next week, so that at least they all have bank account. So what the council is now trying to do is to create a parks management unit to be able to manage these facilities effectively. The tree planting exercise, as I said, we have a digital system that we monitor. We have planted about 189, which I've mentioned. The first year, we planted about 67,000 tree seedlings. And the second year, 44,000 tree seedlings. And the third year, last year, we were able to provide 78,000 tree seedlings. Out of these 78, 50,000 were actually mangroves. So the sustainability aspect of it is we engage the world development committees who were fully involved at the initial conceptualization stage of this project and into the implementation. So the World Development Committee, each ward, we are expected to plant about 10,000 tree seedlings, right? But due to certain environmental issues and in certain wards, they don't have space for 10,000. We, used, we planted in other communities more than 10,000 tree seedlings. So the tree seedlings that have been planted in some of the schools are managed by the school authority through their environment and social clubs formed at the respective schools. And some of the tertiary institutions are managed by the management. They have laborers or workers who are responsible. At the University of the Gambia, they have environmental clubs that are also responsible. You can see the picture with a tire. This is one of the tertiary institutions called the Management Development Institute, which trains civil servants on management and leadership skills. On top, where you have the Lord Mayor, who is wearing yellow and green. This is a project launch, tree planting exercise launching at the Fajara Barracks. We launched the project at the Fajara Barracks. The military were able to plant 1,000 trees that particular day. And then the other picture that is down, the guy is planting the mango. So the sustainable mechanism is the wards are going to be responsible, and wherever we have planted trees, at the school authority and the environmental clubs are responsible. At the ward level, on the street, the ward development committee, because all these ward development committee have subcommittees on environment. So they are responsible to help us supervise after the implementation of the project. So for the parks, we have constructed 8 parks, as I mentioned before, with a children's play area, which has a sporting facilities. You can see we have 6 sites, we have recreational spaces where we also planted some trees as well in these parks, so that these people elderly can come over and be doing some little exercises and then sit under the trees as well. So we launched this the first park at the Bakau Women's Bakau, where we organized a football tournament between female clubs and youth male categories as well. At least it went successfully. So the sustainability plan for this park, as I said before, it's we adapted very simple mechanisms, because it was the communities. When the project was approved, we went back to the communities and then had a discussion in all the 19 wards, and then informed them that we have a project and the project is expected to construct 7 parks. And then if you have a space, let us know, so we can send our department and planning, directorate of the council to sit with you and do the measurement and see whether it's feasible to have it there or not. And then some of the communities identified spaces, Some could not because they didn't have any space. Those who identified, we conducted an assessment to see whether it's feasible to have it there or not. We looked at different parameters. Who owns the land? We looked at that aspect because we don't want to, construct a park at anybody's premises and later reclaim it and then started using for income generations. And we also looked at the environmental aspect of it in terms of flooding, in terms of degradations and such like that. So they are charging the user fee, in order to sustain it. They have a committee who are responsible for the management committee divided themselves into subcommittees. They have committees that are responsible for marketing. They have committees that are responsible for finance. They have committees that are responsible for programs. If anybody wants to hire, they discuss with them what kind of a program, whether it's feasible to have it there or not. And then they have a team that are responsible for purely maintenance of the facilities. The communities were also sensitized that in order for them to maintain these facilities, it is important for them to not to take it as it is owned by them, and therefore we should enjoy it and then not putting in any money when they have to use it. So we sensitize them through focus group discussions and engaging their respective world development committees so that they have a better understanding that the parks needs to be maintained, in as much as the council is currently working on establishing a park management unit, which will definitely oversee the management and operations, and will also provide some allocated budget to the management unit to be able to oversee the operations of these parks that we have constructed. Right?
Okay. Is that it?
Okay. So thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you very much for that, Lamine. We now want to give anyone an opportunity to engage with the rather thoughtful presentation that was provided. Takes a lot of energy to build out and sort of grow a context for for green growth, sort of in the pathway of massive levels of density within your city. So the work that has been done is applauded. It's fantastic. And we want to give everyone an opportunity to engage. So are there any questions? Raise your hand. I know that Julie and France and myself have a few questions. But let's open it up for discussion.
And also, if your microphone isn't that good, feel free to pop it in the chat.
Yes. Okay, Julie, maybe you want to kick off?
I saw Antimana. I don't know if you have a question. Please feel free to unmute or type it if you want. I just saw it.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
I'm sorry I couldn't introduce myself at the initial stage because I was having some issues with my device. But nonetheless, I have listened to everyone, and I thank Mr. Sanyam for the deliberation he has made on the intervention KMC has been doing over the past years. Although I am aware of the program and the initiative, and I've never had an opportunity to take part in it, but I've been observing from lenses. My question is, hence mangrove restoration is another key component of the program, and I have seen a lot of planting exercise being done at the Tambi wetland. Is there any other intervention done in other wetlands as well? For example, like Ibo Town, you mentioned that the minister was there because that area seems to be polluted with waste, plastic, and any other kind of waste you can imagine. So with illegal construction as well, and there are blockages where hydrology is being blocked to reach the mangroves. So I don't know whether there's a plan for KMC to extend mangrove restoration in these areas, and what are the way forward in engaging those illegal settlements inside the riverines of Ibo Town, and what are the strategies in place or bilateral relation or collaboration between the ministry and KMC and any other relevant civil society organization, and working towards ameliorating or stopping any other illegal activity within the wetlands of Tambi wetland and Ibo Town as well. That's
Right.
my question.
Thank you, Davo. Thank you so much for the question. Yes, for the wetlands, we have planted mangrove in almost about 6 areas. We've planted in Pajukunda, Bakau as well, around the riverine areas there, Old Joshwang, Talendin South, and Abuko. We working with the committees, the World Development Committees, to identify, and then some CSOs. In fact, we use most of the times when we have to plant, we use the CSOs to assist us in the planting exercises, and some community members as well. But some of these wetland areas, yes, we have planted a lot of mangroves around those areas that have been identified. Regarding the Ibo Town area, we've, as a council, engaged the central government because we felt we cannot do it alone in order to deter communities or people from polluting that area and constructing. What they do was, when I came on board as a director, I went on site inspection around that area. I even nearly fought because I found some of the residents around that area who are encouraging illegal dumping, using donkey carts to dump in areas, and they claim it as their land and then build structures. And then the council, what we did was we engaged the Department of Physical Planning and the Department of Land, and at the council level, to have a fruitful discussion, and some of the alcalis around those riverine areas, to have a discussion, and the Department of Planning and Physical Planning to assist us to deter people from continuing building structures around that areas. With regards to the waste, we have put in place skip bins around those areas because some of our trucks cannot get to those riverine areas because of the nature of the soil. And then because they are too big as well, the road conditions are very bad, and they cannot even turn, So what we did is we put skip bins at a strategic location so they can dump, and then we collect the waste. But again, we have also established what we call the anti-littering unit. The anti-littering unit, working closely with the National Environment Agency. We have our bylaws, but the charges is too minimal. We therefore seek partnership with the National Environment Agency and the National Police to help us enforce the anti-littering laws, which has a heavy fine, and that we felt will deter people from dumping around those areas. Unfortunately, the first agreement was signed, but we felt we still have to involve the National Police. We have a tripartite MOU, which was sent to the National Police for signature, but yet still they did not sign the document, and then the enforcement becomes a very big challenge for us around the riverine areas. But when the minister went, we made a consultations. We felt it has to be a participatory approach, where we have councils as well as the government institutions to sit together and work out strategies in order to deter people from dumping, but also to stop them from constructing around those areas, because they are in fact blocking the waterway, and that is in fact causing flooding around those areas.
Okay, thank you. Well, I just want to say this. We want more questions, and we have one in the chat. I'll leave that to you, Julie, but I just wanted to say this notion of managing across, right? I mean, there is no one single component of government, one department, even though one department may be in charge of, say, the tree planting, right? Or even waste. It's not possible to manage those processes without, without lands, without planning, without, the fiscal departments and those kinds of dynamics. It's the idea of mainstreaming, right? Adaptation challenges, because I see all of this in the adaptation bucket. And so if we're looking at, flooding that has happened in a particular area, we're looking at air pollution that's coming from the waste. All of these dynamics are, multifunctional and requires a framework, where, city leaders, city departments are working, together, like integrally, across. And that's what I've heard from you from that answer, that you have built an integrated process to respond to these challenges. Is that right?
Right. Because in our waste management strategy or council strategy, we have a pillar that talks about partnership and collaborations, because we felt as a council, we cannot do it alone. And then, in fact, the resources in terms of finance, in terms of technical capacities, are very limited. And therefore, we need to harness collaboration. That's why you see the TBI. That's why we work with other governmental institutions as well. Within us, we have government institutions like the Ministry of Youth, the Department of Community Development. We work with the National Environment Agencies. Whenever we have environmental activities, they are engaged. The Ministry of Environment are engaged, the Department of Physical Planning and Lands. We share with the same ministry line. So all these and the communities and the international NGOs, some of the projects that we are implementing regarding environment, we're working with the SOS Children's Village, we're working with an international NGO called Fandema, and then we are working with some international donors as well, in terms of fundings and in terms of provision of technical support. So we use open door policy approach towards things. That's why I said initially that we use a participatory development processes, methodology to be able to get to where we wanted to.
Okay. There's a question in the chat, but just before we get there, let me just ask one more thing. Yeah. So this engagement around I am completely fascinated by the fact that how many years did it take you to build 8 community parks? How long did it take? You're on mute.
Mute, yes. So the 7 parks are built by the Canif Environmental Transformation
Okay,
Project,
7.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The other park is being implemented jointly by telecommunication company called AfriCell. Right.
Yes.
So the 7 were built by the project, and then within the 3 years, we able to finish 6 parks. The other one is just about to be completed and then be handed over to the respective community. And again, we have the 9th one is coming up. In fact, as I was presenting, the Lord Mayor was calling. We are expected to be at the Kotu Park. We name it after UN 75 when they were inaugurating that 75 years. We allocated, assigned a park to them, and then they have funded the park, and we are expected to inaugurate it in 1 or 2 weeks' time. So we are to have a meeting with the community on Friday, and then to develop a setup before handing over, to train them on parks management and governance, landscaping as well, and then and other resource mobilization as well, so that at least they can better manage the facilities.
Okay. We have a team here from Nairobi that sort of oversees all of the parks in the city. Yeah. So we have Kelvin, and I think Maureen has just joined us. I was wondering, Kelvin, you've been here from the beginning, and I know Maureen, you just joined. I mean, but we have a smaller municipality here that has, sort of expanded their park system over the last 3 years. Sort of building 7, they've built out 6. They're using user fees in order to manage, sort of the maintenance. What can you tell them about what you're doing, sort of in Nairobi, sort of, and in response to what you've heard? Kelvin.
Thank you. The team, I'm so proud of what they're doing. They're really doing an amazing job. And let them keep going. Please allow me to give Miss Maureen a chance to say hi, and maybe she can comment, and then I can add on something.
Okay, Maureen, you want to jump in?
Hello, Eric. How are you?
Good. We're all good. Glad you're here.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm in a noisy place, so I cannot really engage. But I've just joined, and I'm trying to see what Kevin has sent me through the presentation. Then I'll comment later, please.
Okay. So Kelvin, go ahead.
So basically, what we do in the Department of Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, we have a Park and Natural Resource Unit. This is the unit that oversees the maintenance of all parks in Nairobi City County to ensure that they meet good standards for recreation, functionality, and also have the aesthetics. So how we do here is the unit is allocated money through the budgetary allocations to the from the county annually. So these funds are then channeled to projects annually. So, for instance, in the last financial year, we've been doing roundabouts and major traffic islands. I wish I was prepared. A minute, let me share something as we continue. So in these parks and in these traffic islands and the roundabout, this is what we did last year. In the other financial year, we are able to do Uhuru Park and Central Park. Those are large parks, 69 acres, to meet modern standards. Please let me share my screen to show you what we did with the Roysambu Traffic Island.
Go ahead.
Thank you. See this?
I don't know if it is visible.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So as a unit, we are responsible, one, by first of all, designing what we envision to do. So these are some of the concepts that we did for the Roysambu Traffic Island. And let me show you the renders. So that you can appreciate and maybe critique on some aspects.
Okay, so walk us through it.
So that is just one of the projects we did last year. We also have others. So mostly we depend on the funds allocated to us in the financial year. However, we are finding partners that we're going to work with them to build more neighborhood parks. We have close to 281 neighborhood parks across the city. So we want to bring recreational spaces and parks closer to each neighborhood. So we are looking on having partners on board to help us with that. Also, we are responsible in managing the all greenery within the city. Nairobi is the city under the sun. So we have to ensure that it is green enough. We have the greenery to complement the aesthetics in the city and also to help reduce urban heat island.
Okay.
So
let me ask this question, if I can, just
Okay.
quickly. So it is clear that sort of the establishment of a parks unit, what you have done is critical. This is what Nairobi is actually using to manage the park system. And he mentioned 2 of the 5, sort of integral parks that they have across the city. And then there are, sort of those public green spaces like the roundabouts that they're managing and growing out systematically, sort of with, sort of budgetary allocation that comes, from the city. But this idea of having a park management authority, right? Sort of through the city, is where are you exactly with it? I think it's still being built out because I think this is an opportunity maybe for Nairobi, sort of in Kanifang to maybe have some sort of exchange and a process of helping to think through, sort of how this could actually, sort of fully function, within Kanifang, based on their experience. What do you think?
It is a great experience. We are also on that route, given that the revenue we collect currently are all collected through the county accounts, all funds collected from the activities and events at the parks.
Okay.
Also, another source of revenue is through advertisement on the roundabouts and the medians, the gardens are the medians of the roads. So the management has been trying to come up with sort of an entity, an independent entity, where the park section can be able to collect their own revenue, not to depend on the allocations that we are given annually. because
Okay.
the challenge at the moment is the funds are not always consistent. There are new programs that come in, so the county has to focus revenues on where it is needed most. So
The user fees that you get from the parks, like, I mean, the Canifang is looking at user fees as well, and you guys have been using user fees for a long time. But when you collect those user fees, they don't go to the parks department directly. They go into the county, the county budget. Is that right?
yes,
Okay. But the revenue that's coming from your user fees, is it significant enough to run the operations?
from the way where we are looking at, as the funds will be enough to run, but not to expand.
Okay.
Doing the
Okay.
neighborhood parks.
But in terms of maintenance for the park system, the existing systems, it can do that.
Yes.
Operational maintenance, it could cover that.
Yes.
Okay. Lamine, what do you think?
Good one. That was indeed a good one. We've learned, I'm with my colleague here, Dudu, who just came from Nairobi. I think he recognized some of the areas. He was telling me some of the areas around where embassies are. It's a very good experience to us in terms of council putting in or allocating budgets for the management, which we are about to set up. I think that's a good one. I'm presently with the finance manager of the council. I think that would obviously help us to see how we can set up and how we can be able to allocate fundings to the respective parks and also expand. Because we felt still even one of the strategies that we are thinking of now, hence the Canif Environmental Transformation is a program. We wanted to expand some of the activities, even beyond after the project, like the mangrove plantation, tree planting, and also looking at spaces along the roads, in front of schools to have them green, and then plant trees there. And some of the schools or in front of some of the facilities, we wanted to have a partnership deal set up with the landowners to be able to manage the facilities and then where we can keep in. As I'm talking to you, we are developing a concept with the National Environment Agency to do landscaping and greening. I think it's GEF funded. Just last 3 weeks ago, we had an encounter with the National Road Authority. They are building some roads networks within the municipality, and then they wanted to have concrete on sideways. We said, no. Why not? Can you hold on? Can you hold on, please? So we engage our Department of Planning to give us a design that would present at the National Road Authority to tell them that, look, we wanted to name this avenue as a National Environment Avenue, street, you understand? And then we wanted to, plant trees and have it green, and then employ youth to manage the facilities. So I'm doing this together with the Executive Director of the National Environment Agency. They are just about to conclude the design that will present our case to the National Road Authority to see that this is what we wanted to do. So immediately we given approvals, and then we started having that pilot on the highways. And then because there are so many places, that we can replicate this kind of a thing. So, that's what we are working on. And then I believe we can share our emails and then try to exchange ideas on how they are able to manage some of these facilities as well, in terms of operations on the ground. And then, and because that's also very important, not only about putting in money, but operationally, how it is being managed in terms of human resources, in terms of the technical aspect of it, but that's very important.
Well, certainly. I mean, the idea of operational maintenance, sort of the CapEx, OpEx 10 to 20-year period, right?
Yeah.
If you establish a park, you want the park to be there over time.
Right.
And so there has to be a context for that to happen.
Right.
And resources, it's tied to resources, right?
Right. Right.
And the user fee process could work, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how that's working across different cities.
Right.
I think this has been very fruitful, no?
So,
do we want to take additional questions or do we want to wrap it up, Julie? I
think just to return, Jacob put a question in the chat. I know we're a little bit over time, but I'd still like to put that one. And it was just a question interesting regarding, I guess, like residents' personal responsibility and how you handle waste. So the question was, what kind of multi-channel strategy do you have to sustain resident participation in waste reduction initiatives, given that 72% of landfill contributions come from household sources? So I guess it's a little bit of a question, and Jacob, feel free to add about how you engage residents kind of upstream before the waste becomes a problem. So has there been any kind of engagement to work with citizens on how they reduce waste before it even gets to the ground, or where you have to handle it in the skips and the trucks?
Yeah, so we, as I said, we directly deal with the communities directly when we were conceptualizing the project, and also when we were developing a waste management strategy. It was a participatory venture. Communities were fully involved. And what we do now is we have public education awareness, which is a first pillar in our waste management strategy. The project established a radio station which educate residents on environmental management. And then also we usually have what we call mayoral tour to different respective wards to engage, have a dialogue with them to express some of their concerns regarding waste management. And then upon return, we develop a way forward to ensure that we put up mechanisms in that aspect. We have environmental subcommittees at ward levels, and we engage those committees as well to do environmental awareness on the ground. And then because we felt presently all what we need is behavioral change. We have put in place collection mechanisms. We have almost now 23 compactor trucks and almost about 7 to 8 open trucks that are fully involved in the waste collections. And then we need to educate people to be able to change their mindset on waste management. And we present the project is currently working on developing a zero waste strategy, which we are going to validate in 1 or 2 months. It's at the second stage of drafts. They'll present to us the third draft by next week or so, and then stakeholders will be engaged in a workshop format where they could review the documents and do some improvements, and then we can start the implementations of the strategy.
Excellent.
Great, thanks so much for that. I think, yeah, I'm just cognizant of time. There's so many questions we could ask. This was an amazing presentation, Laman. I guess maybe my last quick one is, you've done so much social engagement, this, from the radio stations to the consultations with citizens and engaging through ward councillors even. What are some of the challenges, or what kind of advice would you give to other municipalities trying to do this very embedded social engagement that produces really rich outcomes?
My advice would be, in order to have a sense of ownership, the people need to be involved. they need to take this center stage. To me, all what we are doing as a council, we are facilitating the availability of resources to them, to provide them those resources. But in the actual sense, the idea, the concept has to come from the people to have a sense of ownership. And then when you phased out as a project, they can be able to sustain. So one of the key component or the main driving force of the kind of environmental transformation is social inclusiveness, to promote social inclusiveness. Physically challenged children, youth, women, all of them have to play a central role. And then with that, we believe you can be able to sustain and you can be able to have them participated in the entire process, and then with a very limited challenge. And then also the library that we have set up is a circular economy setup. We don't, when we are building, people were telling us now we have internet facilities, people can download books, and then online. But we didn't see it like that. Our concept is to have it as a library of things. You understand, where you can have recycling of household materials like electronic and other devices, and also we have a virtual session room where we felt that youths from South Africa and others can come and sit down, discuss about circular economy, discuss about greening of their municipalities, how they just like what we are doing now. So we felt it is important that to promote social inclusiveness is very important in terms of project implementation and in terms of such a kind of a team. Yes, we do have some challenges it's an urban setting. Normally, usually when you call for meetings, some will turn out, some will not turn out, which is a very big challenge, so that you put across your message to them. It's always a very big challenge because it's an urban area. People have to go and look for their survival. You have to sacrifice to be at work for up to 7 o'clock or 8 p.m. because people have to go to work and they close around 4 or 5, and then you slated meetings around 6 o'clock. So that is, you have a thorough discussions with them, and then they buy in the ideas. So the flexibility also has to be put in place. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a great note to end on, I think. And I think we've all been really inspired by the amazing work you're doing, really extensive and intensive work across many different kind of subject matters related to the environment. So thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey. And it'll be exciting to see what you continue to do. Yeah, and I just wanted to hand off to Franz quickly if he just wanted to say any brief announcements, because we always end up not getting to this section.
Yeah, thank
Exactly.
you,
We're going to
Julie.
do that. And also then we're going to ask everyone to turn on their cameras so we can take a quick photo.
Oh, good
as
point.
we close.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah. Should we do
Okay.
the photo now then? But in case some people have to drop off before the.
Let everyone turn on their cameras.
Okay.
That would be great. And while you're turning on your cameras, go ahead and do the announcements, Franz.
Yeah, go for it, Franz.
Yeah, while Eric take a picture, I will just take a couple of minutes to remind to you the professional certificate on measuring and monitoring urban nature. It's a professional training hosted by IUCN Academy. And the main objective of this course is to learn how to use urban nature index to assess, plan, and measure the impact of your urban conservation initiative. Learn to use scientific methodologies, including the UNI, to assess city influence on urban biodiversity and tackle challenge related to natural conservation, protection, and restoration, as well as climate change mitigation and adaptation. So the course will start in June in June of this year. Let me, 12 June and end in 70 July 2025. And it's a paid course, so let me put the link to have more detail about the course on the chat box. Okay, so this the main announcement of this brief. And as the Canifing Council have an important component of its project, which is to composting waste. I think it's also interesting to develop urban agroecology as one of the main tools to address climate change and also food security. And in this thematic, Agroecology Fund, the Agroecology Fund is an international organization, also offer a grant to finance agroecology initiative up to $20 million, I think, to finance a project in agroecology. So I can put I can also put the detail of this project in the chat. So this is the main announcement of this great briefing. Mr. Lamy, thank you for this great, very inspiring presentation. I think your project could be copy and paste in other regions, such as in Cameroon, where we are challenging with waste management and so on in urban environment. So thank you a lot for your presentation.
And thank you so much for sharing these very important two messages. We will definitely try to pursue.
Well, thank you so much again, the main team from Canifing. Thank you so much for your work and for joining us here. Let me make one last request. Let's take one last picture. Let everyone who's on turn on your cameras. It's always better if we turn on our cameras just for 2 minutes. Kelvin, Maureen, if it's possible. Christine, Mohammed. Yeah, let's just turn on the cameras for just a second. Just a quick one. Quick one. Almost there. We still have some folks not turning on. Okay, no problem. Here we go. Thank you.
Us in greatness. Thanks, Eric.
Okay, hold on. One more. Got someone else just joined, just turned on their camera. So just give me one
Hey,
second.
Urban Nather.
One second. This has been excellent. It's amazing that we have done so many of these things.
Yeah, and a new city every time. It's been fantastic.
Exactly.
I think really great for everyone to get to know each other. So thank you for all the participants for joining, for asking great questions. And thank you so much to Canifing Municipality for sharing today. That was fantastic. So like we said, we'll share a newsletter and the notes and the slides, and then also a recording afterwards, as long as you guys are okay with sharing the slides to this group. And yeah, we really thank you and continue to engage. And we'll see you next month. We'll share the date soon with maybe from Ghana this time, right, Eric? So
yes, exactly. And the great thing is that we've now done Southern Africa, we've done East Africa, we've done West Africa. We're doing a little more of West Africa next time. Hopefully it'll be Kumasi. And then sort of we'll swing back around to the east and then to the south. And at some point get some North African cities involved as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lamine. Thank you, team.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Julie.
See you in April. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye-bye from Cameroon.
Thank you.